Hello, welcome to Martin Maths. We're continuing the May 2020 Maths Foundation GCSE paper. In a previous video, you'll have seen questions 1 to 10, and today we're doing video 2, questions 11 to 21. And following this, we'll do video 3 to finish the paper. Okay, so question 11 is a reflection question. There's a mirror line and a shape, and it says reflect the shaded shape in the mirror line. Now, you could use this with tracing paper, but I prefer to do counting. So you can see that there's 1, 2 to get to that point. So go to the left 1, 2. And so that kind of nose of that shape would be there. Similarly, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it needs to look opposite, but the same shape. And here, this is 1, 2, 3 away. So 1, 2, 3. And now you just draw up the same shape, preferably with a ruler, but as I'm doing it one-handed, there we go. Okay, so that'll be the same shape reflected as though the shape was looking into the mirror and seeing that. So don't draw that same shape looking almost that way, that's a translation, and don't rotate it, that'd be a rotation, but a reflection needs to be symmetrical around the mirror line. Okay, it's a 2-mark question there. So 1 mark for having the right shape in the right orientation, and then 2nd mark being in the correct position. Right, now we have a number machine or a function machine. We have an input times 2, then that number is subtracts 3, and we get an output. So if we put 7 into there, 7 times 2 is 14, then 14 is going to subtract 3, and that gives us 11. So we've now got 11 as our output. Now it says find the input when the output is 41. So now we're going in reverse. So the output, we do the opposite operation to that. So now we're going to add 3, and then we're going to divide by 2. So the first step is adding 3. So 41 add 3 is 44, and then 44 divided by 2 is 22. And that's 2 marks because you have to get the correct number, but you have to understand that you've done this process in reverse. So going backwards means the inverse of that minus 3, which is positive 3, and the inverse of times 2 is divide by 2. Okay, so that's questions 11 and 12. Let's move on to question 13. This is a bearings question. So the topic there is bearings. And we have A here, and we have B there. And we have a scale. So 1 to 25,000 means 1 of anything in real life would be 25,000 of that. But we can choose to use 1 centimeter to 25,000 centimeters. Okay? So find the bearing of B from A. So get the grammar correct. Of B from, the from means where you start. So I'm going to measure from A to get to B. So look at my protractor video or my protractor short about how to read a protractor. But for bearings, we hold it vertical. Put that cross at A and lie that line flat as best you can on that line. And we can read from 0, although there are numbers on the inside, that's from reading the other side. We must read from 0 clockwise from north. And I see about 23 or 24 degrees, but they'll give you a margin of error there. So I'm going to put 23 degrees going in that direction. Okay, always read clockwise from 0 degrees, which is north, okay? And always read, in this case, the outside. Now, we have to work out the real distance between A and B. So we need to measure what it is on this map and get your ruler to join those 2 lines. And I see 5 centimeters. So it's 5 centimeters on the map. But if 1 centimeter is 25,000 centimeters, I then need to multiply that by 5. So 5 times 25,000 centimeters will be 125,000 1,000 centimeters. It's a non-calculator paper, so I just have to multiply 5 by 25. I know 4 25s is 100, and an extra 25 would be 125, but that is centimeters. So I know that's 1250 meters, because there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. But they've asked for the answer in kilometers. So I'm going to divide by 1,000. So 1250 divided by 1,000 gives me 1.25 kilometers. Okay, so hopefully that'll answer that question there, using a scale and converting from centimeters to kilometers. Right, question 14. This is a two-way table question, so do have a look at my short and other videos. There's plenty of videos on the channel about two-way tables. Ishmael asked 30 students at college to tell them the sport they each liked. So we know that that total there is 30, so the bottom right-hand corner of that table. 11 of the 20 female students said swimming. 2 of the male students said tennis, and 5 students said cricket. First thing you should do here is fill in the information they've given you. So 11 of the 20 students who are female said swimming. So the 20 there is the total female, and that matches that number there. And 11 of them said swimming. So I'm going to put 11 there. Then it says 2 of the male students said tennis. So I'm going to put 2 male said tennis. That goes there. And then 5 students said cricket. So what they mean there is the total, 5 students in total. So we go there. So we've used all the information they've given us to fill in that information. Now, there's some more information here that I need to read. The number of male students who said cricket was the same number as the number of male students who said swimming. So I know that that number and that number are going to be the same. Okay, so I've read all of this and I've filled in all the information they've given us. I've used the 30 there, which was already in the table. The 20 was already in the table. I've done the 11, I've done the 2, I've done the 5. And I note that that and that must be equal. So now I'm going to do some subtraction. 30 minus 20 gives me 10 there. So I know that there are 10 males in total. Now 10 minus 2 is 8. And that 8 is going to be shared between cricket and swimming. I know that that plus that is going to add up to 8. So that must be 4. And once I've got that, I should be able to fill in the rest. 4 plus 11 is 15. That comes from 4 plus 11. 5 minus 4 is 1. Notice if I have the total, I'm subtracting. If I'm trying to find the total, I'm adding. Now, 1 plus 11 is 12. So I need 8 more to make that total of 20. And then 2 plus 8 is 10. And then that total and that total should be the same. 10 plus 20 is 30. 5 and 10 is 15, plus another 15 is 30. So I know that that will be correct. Okay, so all I've done is add or subtract, but if I'm looking for the total, I'm going to add. If I'm trying to find what are the numbers in here, I'm going to subtract. Okay, but do watch my other videos on two-way tables. Right, let's move to question 15. Jamil makes a drink by mixing 1 part of orange juice, 1 part of orange to 9 parts of water. He's going to mix 750 milliliters of orange squash. So I need to find out how much of water he's going to use. And he's going to put the drink he's mixed into 1 liter bottles. Work out the greatest number of 1 liter bottles that Jamil can completely fill. So I'm going to need to times 750 by 9 to find that answer there. So let's work out what that is. And it's a non-calculator paper, remember, so I have to do this using column or grid, or whichever preferred method. So that's going to be 0. That'll be 45. Carry the 4 up there. 9 times 7 is 63, plus that 7. 45. I've carried the wrong number. Yeah, so that's 0. 9 times 5 is 45, so yes. should have put the 5 there. Another way you could have done that was 750 times 10, which is 7,500, and then subtract one lot of 750. Either way, you get 6750 mils. So that's the water plus the orange squash. If I add those two together, 6750 plus 750, I'm going to get 0. Add those two together is 10. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus that 1 is 15. Carry that 1. I get 7,500 mils of squash in total. But I'm going to pour this out into 1 litre bottles. So how many will that fill completely? Well, if I realize that's 7.5 litres, I'm going to fill 7 complete ones. There'll be half a litre left over, but he's only got 1 litre bottles. So he doesn't want to, if he's going to use those for a run or sell them, he doesn't want that half litre left over. Okay, so that's some problem solving and converting of units. Right, let's move on to question 16. The table gives information about the number of points scored by each of 16 students in a game, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the frequency 1, 3, 5, 4, and 3. Tina worked out the median of the number of points scored to be 5. Explain why it is not possible for the median to be 5. Well, the number of points only goes up to 4, so it can't be 5. I think the confusion there is that Tina's confused the frequency of that 5, which would actually be a mode, the modal category, which would be 2. So Tina's confused mode and median, but also not seeing that median can't be possible because it only goes up to 4. So something along that line. The median would actually be the eighth student. Okay. Next question. Tina also worked out the total number of points scored by the 16 students, because if there's one person got no points, 3 people got 1, 5 got 2, you're going to multiply frequency times the number. And so that's what these numbers are here. 0 times 1, 1 times 3, 2 times 5, 3 times 4, and 4 times 3. But there's a mistake. And we're going to see what is the mistake. 1, 3, 10, 12, and 12. Well, 4 times 3 and 3 times 4 are 12. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 1 is 3. But that's the mistake there. 0 times 1 is not 1. It should have been 0. Okay, so some comment about that. Right, question 17. In a shop, a TV has a normal price of £500. The shop has a sale. On Monday, the normal price of the TV is reduced by 1/10 to give the sale price. Okay, so for price for Monday. And then on Tuesday, the sale price of the TV is reduced by 20%. So Chris wants to buy the TV. He has £400 to spend on the TV. Does Chris have enough to buy the TV on Tuesday? So let's work out what it is on Monday. So 1/10 times 500 is, divide that by 10, is 50. So it's reduced by that. So 500 minus 50 is £450. So that's the price, sale price on Monday. He doesn't have enough on the Monday, but he's not trying to buy it on the Monday, he's trying to see it on the Tuesday. Now on Tuesday, 450 is reduced by 20%. So we could either times that by 0.8 or times that by 8/10, or do 450 minus 20%. So 10% is 45, 20% is 90, 450 minus 90 is 360, if I know my 9 times table. And then the answer, yes, he does have enough, because 400 is bigger than 360 and he can afford it. Okay. Right, so now we can go on to question 18. And this is an estimate, and some students make a mistake here by working out that actual number. To estimate, you must round, okay? It's kind of an educated guess. So I'm going to choose one significant figure for that. So I'm going to round 790 to 800, round 289 to 300, and 49 to 50. I've rounded them all to one significant figure. So now I can cancel those multiples of 10. And now 800 times 30 is going to be 24 with 3 zeros. So 24,000. So I've got 24,000 divided by 5. And now I'm trying to work out 24,000 divided by 5. So I'll do bus stop method. It goes in 24 divided by 5 4 times with 4,000. 5 into 40 is 8, leaving those zeros. So 4,800. Sorry, just fold in the paper there. To be clear, 4,800. Okay, so you could, it's the protractor. You could choose to round that to different numbers, but I found it easier to round to one significant figure. So I didn't have 2 digits to deal with. Okay, some algebra. Hopefully this is straightforward in terms of the comprehension. You just have to expand that, which means to multiply. So you can either use the expand every term on the outside by every term on the inside. So x times x is x squared minus 4x. It's only 1 mark. Or if you're not sure, you can think about this as a rectangle, x and x minus 4. And you're trying to work out that product. Okay, that's just 1 mark. Factorize, this is the division of algebra. I've got to find common factors. So as though this is the answer of an area, I want to find out what numbers multiply to get that. There's only one term involving y, but the 15 and the 10 share a 5. So take out that 5, I'm left with 3. Take out the 5 of that, I'm left with 2. So 5 times 3, y minus 2. Now solving, there's 2 ways to do this, and I'll show you both. One method is to expand, as we saw above. So we've got 7f minus 5 equal to 28. If I expand that, I've got 7f minus 35 equal to 28. So 7f, I'm going to add 35 on both sides now, which will cancel there. And so 28 plus 35 is 3, carry the 1 is 63. And then 63 divided by 7 is 9. Okay, so I get an answer of 9. I can check that. 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 times 7 is 28. Another way, and this works only if that's a multiple of the 7. If I do 7f minus 5 equal to 28, divide by 7 first on both sides using the balance method, opposite operation to both sides. F minus 5 will equal 4. And I'm going to add 5 to both sides, so f equals 9. You get the same answer, same number of steps. The key thing is to notice if that is a multiple of that one there. Okay, right, last 2 questions for this video, going up to question 21. The first 5 terms in an arithmetic sequence are 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13. Write down an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this. So nth term being the general expression that gives this sequence. First thing to look for is what the difference is. And in each case, it's adding 3. So there are multiples of 3. So 3 times n. And then you need to see, well, 3 times n, if I was to put 1 into there, I wouldn't get 3 there. So 3, I wouldn't get 1 there. So 3 times 1 would give me 3, but I want to get to 1, so I must subtract 2. And I can check that. If I plug 1 into there, 3 times 1 minus 2 does give me 1. If I check 2, 3 times 2 is 6, minus 2, I get 4. And I can just, for the checking of it, 3 times 3 minus 2, that's 9, minus 2 is 7. So that is correct. 3 and minus 2. Good thing about algebra is that you can often check your answers. As we did when we solved that, we could check that f equals 9 was the answer. And you can do that with a sequence as well. Right, last question for this video. We've got to show that 2 1/3 times 3 3/4 equals 8 3/4. Okay, I want to take these mixed numbers and turn them to top heavy, or improper fractions. So I know in that 2 there are 6 thirds. So I'm going to do 2 times 3 is 6 plus that 1, so 7/3. And in that 3 there are 12 quarters. So I'm going to do 3 times 4 plus that 3. So 15/4. Okay. Now I'm going to look for common factors. You could multiply across and do 7 times 15/3 times 4. But I'd much rather cancel numbers and make the numbers smaller. So how many 3s are in 15? Well, there are 5. There's 1 3 there. So I'm going to be left with 7 times 5, which is 35/4. Now 4 goes into 35 8 times, with 3 left over, because 8 times 4 is 32. So the remainder is 3/4, which is exactly what was required. And that should give you 3 marks. Okay, there we go. That's the Foundation Paper 1 from 2020, questions 11 to 21. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and look out for the next video when we finish this paper. Thanks.